What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to get into a fight, middleweight championship bout that took place July 7th, 1970 at Madison Square Garden between middleweight champion Emil Griffith. Now, Emil Griffith would hold the WBC WBA middleweight championship strap. He was also a former welterweight champion, but he would face WBC WBA former middleweight champion Dick Tiger. Dick Tiger would also become the future WBC and WBA light heavyweight champion. And these two men would get it on. But I would like to get into that fight, and I would like to get into it with you right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Now, Emil Griffith was born February 3rd, 1938 in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. He was 32 years of age at the time of this fight. He weighed 157 pounds. He stood 5 foot 7.5 inches, and overall weight was 144 to 162 pounds. Now his fighting record was 74, 63 wins, 11 losses, 20 knockouts with 1 draw. He was managed and trained by Gil Clancy. He was holder of the WBC WBA middleweight champion of the world, and he was a 5-time total world champion. He held the welterweight championship strap 3 times and middleweight championship strap twice. He would fight fighters coming into this fight: Benny Kid Perret, who was a former welterweight champion; Denny Moyer, Jorge Fernandez, Florentino Fernandez, Don Former, who was the brother of Gene Former, former middleweight champion; Stanley Kitten Haywood, Harley Mims, and Ralph Dupas. Now, Dick Tiger, his real name was Richard De Jesus. He was born August 14th, 1929 in Nigeria. He died December 15th, 1971 in Nigeria. He weighed 156 to 168 pounds, and he was managed by Freddie Brown. Now, he was 40 years of age at the time of this fight, and he stood 5 foot 8 inches. He was a former holder of the WBC WBA middleweight championship strap and the future holder of the WBA WBC light heavyweight championship strap. He would take the WBC WBA strap from Joey Giardello, and he would lose it to Emil Griffith. And he would win the WBC WBA light heavyweight championship strap, Jose Torres, and he would lose it to Bob Foster. He would also win the British middleweight championship strap. Now, coming into this fight, he would fight fighters such as Gene Former, who was a former middleweight champion; Hank Cassie, Joey Giardello, former middleweight champion; Don Former, his brother; Reuben Hurricane Carter, Peter Muller, Bob Foster, former middleweight light heavyweight champion; Nino Benvenuti, former middleweight champion. Don Former was the brother of Gene Former. Now, these two men would have this fight July 7th, 1970. And at that time, Dick Tiger was 60-19 with 3. That was his record coming in that Madison Square Garden fight. And the ring announcer at that time was Johnny Addy. Referee was Petey Bajul. And Al Burrow was the judge. Howard Letterman was the other judge. And it looked like the fight was somewhat even up until the last round, really. Was when Emil Griffith just hit him with a nice 2-piece. And Dick Tiger couldn't respond. Then he hit him again with another right hand. And that was it. And Dick Tiger complained about the fight. He said that they already contracted an agreement with Nino Benvenuti. Did Emil Griffith. So he felt it was a robbery. He felt he was robbed before he even got into the fight. But that's boxing for you. Emil Griffith, solid guy. Gil Clancy, he's a businessman. And, it is what it is. But I felt it was a great fight. They had a 2-fight series. First fight was April 25th, 1966. Dick Tiger was 54-17-3 at the time of that fight. They fought at Madison Square Garden. And at that time, Dick Tiger was a middleweight champion of the world, and Emil Griffith took the title from him. But, all in all, you got to appreciate the fight. You appreciate it for what it was worth. It was a very good fight. Talking about two of the greatest fighters in history of the game. And Emil Griffin was just too much for Dick Tiger at the end of the day. Fascinating fight between these two gentlemen. And like I said, Emil Griffin had touched Dick Tiger towards the end of the round, the end of the fight, of their second fight, July 7th, 1970. And I believe that's what made the difference in the fight. Here you have Emil Griffith on the scales and Dick Tiger. These guys are having a joke because of cowboy boots that was worn in. I'm going to zoom in on that one. To the weigh-in by Emil Griffith. But two solid guys, two outstanding fights. And I just wanted to salute both fighters. And both of those fights, they were involved in the Madison Square Garden. The Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute to these legendary fighters. Thanks for hanging in there with me. This is Scrapbook Boxing. See you next time. Peace. This has been another video, Scrapbook Productions. Thanks for tuning in. And look out for many more from the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series.